Welcome to the Seniors Rock Show, presented by the Law Office of Michael Robinson, PC, on News Radio, Wham 1180. The Seniors Rock Show, a lively weekly discussion shining a bright light on aging with fun, entertainment, and important info for all adults. Join in with your comments or questions. Call or text 222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. Now from the News Radio Wham 1180 studio in downtown Rochester, here's your host, Joanna Palvino.
Hello, and thank you for being here today. I'm Joanna, and I'm here with my co-host, estate planning and elder law attorney, Michael Robinson, and he's with the Law Office of Michael Robinson, PC. Hey, Mike, yesterday I was over at Rockbox Recording, and I was there with my father-in-law, Jack Palvino, and with everybody's friend, Tom Proietti. And we had a great time. They were doing some recording over there with Scott Fitzgerald. I'll mention another Irish name there. And he was helping them to go virtual with what they've been doing for quite a couple of years now, called the Rochester Radio Roadshow. And we're going to talk about that. They're going to be on the air next week with us. So I'm really excited about that. And we'll learn more about their roadshow next week. But it tied into the topic today, which is virtual. And the word virtual is described in the dictionary as almost or nearly as described, but not completely or according to strict definition. A lot of us are feeling spring these days with warm weather, but I thought, it would be a good time to talk about outings in virtual or in person, things that we can be looking forward to, because spring's coming, I think, in like 6 weeks, right? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah, March 21.
Yeah, that's not far away. So we'll talk more about those things later. And I just wanted to remind folks that we're live. So give a call if you have a happening that you'd like to share with the folks here and the listeners. And maybe you have a question for Mike, because we're here live again. And if you have a question on estate planning, elder law, wills, he's your man. And if you like the Grateful Dead, he's also that guy. So, it's Seniors Rock Radio. Let's have some fun. Mike, I should give them the phone number. It's 585-222-1180 or 1-800-295-1180. I'm going to turn the mic over to Mike now.
Hey, Joanna, and happy Saturday. And spring, virtual or otherwise, seems to be in the air. Pam and I were talking before the show. We're certainly very aware of what March can bring, but it does feel like spring. You can smell it in the air. I was out cutting wood yesterday. The bird song is a little bit different. So it's always an exciting time of year.
True, and I've seen some birds coming back. I thought they were gone, and then all of a sudden they're back again. So they must have been hiding, in the cold weather. So that's always fun to see. And, there's so many things happening. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that we used to be able to do in person, like the St. Patrick's Day Parade, because it's March coming up, right?
Absolutely.
And it's the wearing of the green. And I know you probably have some of that in your ancestry. I'm thinking you're Scottish, so there's maybe some Irish in there.
They're just across the sea there.
So you don't know.
You never know what went on back then.
You'll have to do one of those tests. Well, speaking of tests, we like to hear your myths every week. So have you prepared anything for us to tell us, give us the big truth on estate planning myths?
I do, in fact. And so this week's myth, and again, we just try to explore the misunderstandings that so many folks have and that just cause problems for them and their families. And so this week's myth is, if I'm power of attorney on a bank account, I can continue to use that account after the account owner dies. But the truth is, power of attorney authority ceases upon the principal's death. And this is something, Joanna, we encounter on almost a weekly basis, where there's a situation where a child or a sibling is named as power of attorney on someone's bank account. And then after the account owner dies, the child or sibling continues writing checks on the account or makes withdrawals from the account. And they do that because they believe that because they are power of attorney on the account, they have a legal right to do so. And that belief stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of the nature of power of attorney. And the purpose of power of attorney is for someone called the principal to give someone else called the agent legal authority to take certain actions on the principal's behalf, in effect, to do what the principal could do. And that can be done by signing a particular form with a specific financial institution, such as a bank, and that will convey authority to act for the principal only at that particular financial institution. Or it can be done with a power of attorney document that conveys authority to act on the principal's behalf at a range of institutions. Either way, the authority is only to do what the principal himself or herself could do. And except in certain horror movies, once the principal has died, they can't do anything anymore. And so neither can the agent. And if the agent continues to act for the principal after the principal has died, the agent can be subject to liability for doing so. So if you are a power of attorney agent for someone, it is important that you understand what that means in terms of your authority and your responsibility. And as we talked about last week, failure to understand your role clearly can lead to a host of problems. And there's another related misunderstanding that we should address here too, and that is what authority exactly is conveyed to the agent in a power of attorney document. Too many people think that all powers of attorney are pretty much the same, and that if they've been named as a power of attorney agent, they can do anything that the principal could do. But the agent's authority to take various actions must specifically be stated in the power of attorney document. And as I mentioned, almost on a weekly basis, we encounter situations where someone's trying to act for a parent, most often, only to discover that the simple power of attorney mom or dad signed does not give them the authority to do what they are trying to do. And especially in long-term care situations, this can wind up costing the family tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. And Joanna, we've seen this problem even with powers of attorney that are prepared by attorneys who are not estate planning attorneys. So the lesson, once again, is although we might wish these matters were simple, they're not simple. And you really need the guidance of an experienced estate planning attorney if you want to avoid a lot of heartache and a lot of financial loss.
Agreed. And I'm so glad that you understand all of these things, because it does get complicated and people think, it's just a will and we're good, and it's not. And I'm wondering, I have a question for you, Mike. And if you have a question out there, give us a call. We have a few more minutes in the segment. But Mike, I'm wondering about the power of attorney. And, we talk about, what could happen if this happens and that happens. How do you get prepared? Because I think it sounds like there's a lot of responsibility, and I don't think people realize that. I think they think, oh, yeah, they're just going to sign some documents, but there's quite a bit that they go through, correct?
There really is, and as I mentioned, there's quite a bit of responsibility that goes with that authority, and so it's not something to be undertaken lightly. And to your question, Joanna, how does someone prepare? Really, they ought to have a sit down with the attorney. And one of the things we do to try to help our families is we have actual webinars for their power of attorney agents, their successor trustees, to educate them on what are the sorts of things they're going to need to do, what are their responsibilities going to be. That's a good resource, but again, just even having a chat with the attorney, hey, let me know, what am I going to be called upon to do, and what do I need to be on the lookout for?
And you should probably do that before you agree, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I think always encourage people to do.
Right. Because I think what might happen, I'm thinking that if someone that you love and trust asks you to do this, you're immediately going to be, honored and of course say yes. But I think, again, it's important that you know what you're getting into, right? Just like anything else. And now, is there anywhere you can go online to learn more about it? I mean, or is it basically just an individual conversation?
No, certainly you can, just do even a simple Google search on power of attorney responsibilities, and that will give you some information. But as I always tell people, one of the most dangerous places you can go is the internet. Especially when it comes to estate planning. So there really is no substitute for sitting with a qualified attorney and just, doesn't have to be more than a 15-minute conversation, but to at least get some guidance on what you're getting into.
Yes, and yeah, attorneys and also the medical field, you got to be careful there too with the self-diagnosis. Same thing.
Correct.
And folks, I want to let you know that there is a webinar. If you want to get more information on legacy wealth planning, there is a webinar that Mike and his crew are doing from the law office of Michael Robinson, and that is on March 10th, and that's at 2:00. So probably a good idea to watch that, and then you can relax for the St. Patrick's Day parade, which
There
we
you
have
go.
talked about. It's going to be virtual, but don't worry. It's going to happen, because last year it was gone completely, which was sad. Everybody loves that, and it's like a big sign of spring to me. And do you have anything happening out there that is a big sign of spring for you outside besides chopping wood?
Yeah, well, we're starting to think about the gardens and
Yeah.
start to plan for that and other spring chores. Thinking about the golf game.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get ready for that, and fish fries. And I want to give a shout out to Krabby Dan's in Mendon. I had a fish fry from there last night. Absolutely spectacular.
Oh, that is awesome. I forgot. Yeah, it is Lent. I understand. And we had fish fries too the other day. Or last night.
Over 34 years, the law office of Michael Robinson, PC, has helped families protect their hard-earned wealth from nursing home expense, probate, and taxes. Visit us online to register for our free educational webinar to learn how you can protect you and your family. mrobinsonlaw.com.
And good Saturday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm estate planning attorney Michael Robinson, here with host Joanna Pelvino on the Seniors Rock Show. And Joanna, we've been talking about the fact that spring is in the air.
It sure is, and it's exciting. It is in the air, and I was doing a little bit more purging. We've all been doing that throughout this pandemic. I think it's a good time to do it. And I had this big box of electronics and like an old printer and some cables and that kind of stuff. And I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't want to throw it out. I knew some of it had to be recycled. So I went online and I found this place, Mr. Junk It All, and he was close by. So I just figured I'll give it a shout, and I called him, or no, I'm sorry, I filled out a short form. That's how it started online on Mr. Junk It All on his site. And he called me, the owner, within 10 minutes. And I was in shock that I actually, got a call back so fast. And he was so nice. And he offered to come and pick up the box for nothing, because I was just around the corner, a few blocks away. So I wanted to say thank you so much to Mr. Junk It All and Mark. He lives close by, but I think he goes anywhere in the area. So I totally recommend him, and sincere thanks to you for helping me, Mark, and I'll think of you every time I look at that beautiful empty space in my basement. So
and it is great to have a place to take electronics, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, and I bet you know that feeling because you moved not too long ago, so I'm sure you have some stuff, so you can call him too.
Excellent.
And what's happening in the world of sports? Because we always used to talk about, the Bills, but we'll have that next year, hopefully. But what about the Red Wings?
Yeah, well, spring is upon us, and opening day is coming up, and this year we're going to be able to go to some ball games, at least right now. They're able at current time to take 10% capacity. So we, it's about 1,300 people or so per game, but that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
And, it's still kind of a fluid situation, of course, so we want to keep an eye on it. But and another interesting thing, and again, this is designed for player safety as well as fan safety, is the way the schedule is going to work is rather than typically, 3-game homestands, against another team. Now it's going to be 6-game homestands, and every team has Mondays off. So it's going to cut down on the travel within the league, and there's hope that that'll help, curb the spread of the virus. And it's nothing's completely safe, but it's a way to try to make things as safe as possible and still get back to some of the things we all enjoy.
Very fun, and that's in April, right?
Correct.
So, I'm going to back it up a little bit here, and let's get back to March because, again, I said the St. Patrick's Day Parade. I'm so excited. I think we're going to have a chance to see it again this year. I'm not going to say be there, but you can feel like you're there. And here to tell us about it is Kate McBride. Hi, Kate. You there on the line?
I am. Hi, Joanna and Mike. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hi,
Oh,
Kate.
yeah, anytime. You're great. And tell us what's happening because we're talking about virtual, and I understand the parade is going to be that way.
That's right. Like everyone, we've had to change plans a bit this year. So thanks to TOPS and some great folks over at WROC Channel 8, we're going to present the TOPS St. Patrick's Day virtual parade. And you can watch it right on Parade Day, Saturday, March 13th at 11 a.m. on Channel 8.
Well, that is very exciting. And how's it going to work? I mean, where are you going to be? Like, in the parking lot of Channel 8, having a little parade? I mean, you're not going to go down East Avenue, are you?
No. It's actually going to be a show. And, the parade is such a tradition in Rochester and means a lot to so many people. It's actually the largest single-day event in the city of Rochester, and it brings people in our community together from all walks of life. So, since this is, and you mentioned this before, it's the second year that we haven't been able to have the parade. It was canceled 2 days before it was supposed to happen last year. We wanted to do something special to keep the spirit of St. Patrick and of community alive. So we thought it'd be great for the people who come every year to the parade and also bring a little cheer to those who are staying home during this time. And we're hoping that people in nursing homes and hospitals will get a chance to watch it too.
That's right. Well, that's one of the things I love about the virtual thing. We really can reach more people. So, folks, spread the word, and we'll tell you at the end of this how you can see it. But, Kate, I'm wondering too about the honorees. I mean, normally you have the honorees in the parade. Who's going to be there this year?
We're going to have Compeer, our dear friend Marianne Tucker, Patrick Michael Murphy, Don Stevens, the voice of the Amherst, Mike McEwen of Silko Lachlan's, the Ancient Order of Hibernians, U.S. Staff Sergeant David Bellavia, who's the only living Iraq War veteran to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor, and a dear person, 98-year-old Harmonica Pete, who maybe you've seen before. He's a member of the Greatest Generation. He's traveled the world playing at major military ceremonies and sporting events, including the anniversaries of both the attack on Pearl Harbor and the liberation of Paris. So you're going to meet all these people, and then you'll see them out on the street live next year. But I'd love to tell you a little bit about what's going to be in the actual broadcast, if I can.
Yes, I'm sitting here thinking, are there going to be dancers? Go ahead.
You'll see some video footage from past parades. So you'll see all of the bands and the dance schools, which are everyone's favorites. You'll see a lot of still shots of the crowd from many past years. And we're going to have some trivia and history about the parade in Rochester and the St. Patrick's Day Parade in the United States, and even some old archival footage that WROC found in their in their basement. So that's going to be fun. And another thing we're really excited about is the music that's going to be in the show. We have so many talented local Irish musicians, and they're graciously allowing us to use their music in the show. And just some of the music that you'll hear is the Gates Keystone Club Pipes and Drums, which everybody loves them.
Awesome.
The Cultists.
Yes.
The Cultists, I don't know if you've ever heard them, Joanna. You probably have, but it's a wonderful traditional Irish musicians organization. And they just play great, great music. The Wild Geese, which is a wonderful band, and of course the Dady Brothers, and more. So
I love it, Kate. I want to make sure that people know where to find you, and if it's going to be available after the 13th, which is the first broadcast, because we have to go to break here in a minute. But go ahead and tell them. I'm so excited to see it, and thank you for calling today. Go ahead, tell them how to get a hold of you or to see the parade this year.
Okay. Besides seeing it live on March 13th, you can stream it on WROK's website, rochesterfirst.com. It'll be up there indefinitely. And you can also go to our website, rochesterparade.com, and we'll link you up. And we're hoping that people will watch it, a second time and enjoy it with their corned beef and cabbage. And thanks so much for letting me tell about the parade, Joanna. You're always such a great supporter of it, and we're very excited, and we look forward to being back out on the street on March 12th, 2022.
I'll be with you. So fun. We'll look forward to that. Thanks so much for calling, Kate. And folks, stay tuned. We'll be back right after the news.
Genesee Valley Physical Therapy.
Hi, this is Dan Geen, physical therapist and owner of Genesee Valley Physical Therapy. And today I'm bringing you a very important public service announcement. The state of New York is a direct access state, which basically means you do not need a doctor to refer you for physical therapy. You can simply call Genesee Valley Physical Therapy, and one of our friendly, knowledgeable receptionists will talk to you and help determine if we can help you feel better with either traditional physical therapy or even wonderful aquatic physical therapy. So please don't suffer in pain, and please remember you don't need a referral to see us. We adhere to strict CDC guidelines and even offer telehealth visits if you prefer. Call us or visit GeneseeValleyPT.com today. There's a convenient location near you, including our newest location in Pittsford in the Bushnell Basin office building.
Do what you love, we'll help you get there. Genesee Valley Physical Therapy.
Well, she's coming down the stairs, pulling back her yellow hair. And I ain't gonna be treated this way.
Welcome back to the Seamless Rock Show. We're rocking over here with a little dead music. And I'm here with attorney Michael Robinson. And also, we are being joined right now by a guest, and his name is Jeff Flaherty. And you might know Jeff because you've probably heard his voice lately. He's the guy behind Cold in Your Home, Pick Up the Phone. That's how you sound, Jeff. No, I'm kidding. I'm so glad to have you back. You've helped us with so many good tips this year. And today, I understand we're going to talk about, well, first of all, I wanted to remind people about your virtual home assessment. So we'll talk about that later. But Jeff is a nationally recognized Energy Star contractor. He's right here in Rochester, always ready to share his expertise. And I think this week we're going to talk about ice, which is perfect. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, Joanna. Thank you. I guess I'll say it's ice to be on today.
Oh, I love it. I'm going to hear that in your next commercial, no doubt. It's memorable, though.
Good to be here.
You crack yourself up, I know. But speaking of cracking up, I guess you're getting a lot of calls about ice, huh?
We are getting a lot of calls about ice, and last weekend was quite an event. The building up over a couple weeks of snow, and we get calls ranging from homes built in the 1920s, really up to 3-year-old downtown condos. So ice dams do not discriminate. Ice is an equal opportunity destroyer.
Yeah, no kidding. I was getting worried. I was looking at the roof, and there's, like you said, I was worried that the snow was going to slide down because there was ice under it.
Absolutely.
Is that an ice dam?
Absolutely.
You mentioned ice dams to me one time, and I still don't. I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, so the ice forms at the gutter line, and that starts the ice process. The snow is melting up top on the roof, comes down, and down at the eave by the gutter, it's cold, and the roof, the ice melts, and then the water, as it continues to melt, starts backing up, and it can back right up into the home and start causing damage. So it is not, even though they look pretty, it is not something to be taken lightly and ignored.
Yeah, and Jeff, I know that can be a big problem. What are some short-term, Band-Aids, if you will, for people with big icicles or some ice damming?
Sure. When it's happening, it's certainly scary when it's your home and these big icicles are hanging there. And so the roof raking, getting the snow off, if you can safely do that or hire someone to do that, adding a product that's called a roof melt or a calcium chloride thrown up on the roof is maybe a safe way to start melting some channels to get the water out. And if the water is coming through the ceiling, it's best to really just drill a small hole and let that water out. These are kind of the urgent triage measures of taking care of ice when it's happening.
Okay, so those are short-term things. What about long-term? What kinds of things can you do to prevent it?
So we hear some long-term things that people attempt to do, like cleaning gutters, which is great for proper drainage, but it doesn't really help with ice. That's a myth. Other people certainly can successfully put electric cables on their roof to melt snow. Um, that's like changing the Band-Aid on a cut that needs 30 stitches. It doesn't solve the problem long term. So if you have ice, it's costing you every single day that you have your heating or cooling unit running.
So, what causes these things? Is it just the weather?
So it is a combination of the snow that we're going to get up in this beautiful Finger Lakes area. The snow comes down, the temperature is below 32 degrees, and the perfect ice damming temperature is about 27 degrees, and we're going to get some melt. And the reason we're going to get that melt is we have heat loss through the attic, and that's going to come through two forms. It's going to come through air leaking into the attic, and then the insulation is not up to the proper level it needs to be.
Got it. So, Jeff, what is the real solution long term for this problem?
So the real solution, as we've talked in the past, is running a blower door test to determine the amount of air leakage, not only in the home, but how much is transferring to the attic. So there's really kind of two types of solutions. You can seal the attic plane with foams and caulks and then insulate properly, making sure we're adding baffles. That's one way. That's called a vented attic. And then the other way is just foaming the roof and making that a conditioned living space, we call it. So now the attic is an unvented attic, and that takes great care to do that. But those are the two ways, and it can be corrected long term so that the problem doesn't happen every single year for you.
Well, that's interesting. And are there certain things, certain house types, or certain things on the house that cause more trouble in style? Or like architecture?
Absolutely. Some of the architects have gotten so tricky that they cause us some challenges. But Cape Cod type homes are particularly tricky. Low pitch roof homes are troublesome. Homes with finished attics or homes with heating units or heating and cooling ducts in the attic are going to add to that heat, melting that snow. Also, homes with no soffit vents or overhangs are particularly troublesome also.
Well, I'm glad that, just like I say to Mike, I'm glad he knows about these things and that experts like you guys are out there, because there's a lot more to this than me being worried about my dogs getting hit by an icicle. And Jeff's your guy, and Jeff is with Wise Home Energy if you just tuned in, and you can reach him at wisehomeenergy.com, or you can call or text him, and he's at 585-270-5836. I just wanted to mention that if you just tuned in, so they know who we're talking to. And Jeff, you must be really busy. Does it matter now with the weather? We're talking about roofs and things like that. And I'll tell you what, a long time ago, we had an issue where someone fell off a roof. It was a contractor, not anyone in your business. It was actually more with rodents. And he shouldn't have been on the roof in the first place in the spring. But anyway, that didn't end well. So are there options for you besides getting on the roof to check out this stuff?
Sure. There's really, we have virtual assessments where we can do it remotely with the times we're in. We're finding ways to separate safely and still, come up with a game plan to correct the problem. And we still do in-person visits, fully wearing a mask and practicing COVID-safe measures in the home. So as we say, don't be cold in your home. Pick up the phone. Call 270-5836.
I love it. What was your new one? What's your new tag?
Well, I think we'd have to. I think we would have to say, "Don't grow ice on your home." Pick up the phone. I think that's pretty relevant. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Hey, Jeff, we'll talk to you soon again. Thank you for all the tips, and don't forget, folks, give them a call, Wise Home Energy, if you have any ice or any other things happening, or just to get an assessment of your house. You're listening to the Seniors Rock Show on News Radio WHAM 1180. Effortlessly healthy meals are fresh, fully prepared, ready to eat, and hand-delivered. As a senior, I appreciate the 10% discount, and I love the never-frozen big variety of heart-healthy meals I get to choose from each week. Effortlessly Healthy is locally owned. Meals are perfect to send to a senior loved one. Just heat and eat. Effortlessly Healthy, delicious food, convenience, and a 10% senior discount. Stay healthy, stay happy, and stay home. ehmeals.com, ehmeals.com, 585-254-00. And you know what that means? The Help Song is that's the tune we use to introduce the Greater Rochester Area Partnership for the Elderly Spotlight Business of the Week. And this week it's Laurelwood Assisted Living at the Highlands at Pittsford. And their representative, Hillary Payne Hopkins, is here. So I wanted to say hello and welcome, Hillary.
Hi, Joanna. Thanks for having me. Laurelwood Assisted Living at the Highlands at Pittsford is Rochester's only university-based senior living community. Situated on our beautiful campus, we also offer independent living and skilled care. At Laurelwood, we understand that caring for a parent or loved one can be very worrisome. We often ask folks, how often are you worrying about your parents? Laurelwood offers a peace of mind. Our residents are enjoying wonderful meals. They're attending activities with their friends. They really are living their best lives. And because of our university affiliation, our residents have benefited from safety, security, and support and expertise in these trying times. The University of Rochester was very instrumental in making sure that all of our residents got their first and second dose of the vaccine. At Laurelwood, we offer medication management, help with bathing and dressing, weekly comprehensive housekeeping, weekly personalized laundry service, daily tidying up. We have 24-hour emergency health call buttons, free transportation to all appointments, and really the most robust activities calendar around. When your loved one needs some help with their everyday lives, call Hillary at 641-6389 or visit hap.com. That's Hillary at 641-6389 or go to visithap.com.
Thank you so much, Hillary. And folks, if you want to learn more about assisted living, she's the gal to call. And the Highlands at Pittsford is a beautiful campus. I've been there. So thank you so much, Hillary, and the Laurelwood folks for the support of area adults and for being a member of the GRAPE organization. You can learn more about GRAPE at grapeelder.org. And Mike, there's a lot of good organizations that we mention every week when we can, and GRAPE is one of them, obviously. There is something that's a resource I wanted to bring up, because the reason we do this spotlight, if you will, is to give the folks out there an education of what kinds of services and communities are available. So one of the things you can use as a reference, it's called the elderpages.com. And it's a wonderful one-stop source for anything about elders or seniors. It's got communities. It's got everything from, Mr. Grab Bar to some of the bigger hospitals and so on. But anyway, it's brought to you by GRAPE and the local chapter of the National Council of Jewish Women. And they publish that every couple of years. It's updated, but the online version, the elderpages.com, is constantly updated. So I just wanted to mention to the listeners, it's a great resource. And I know there's another one you like too, Mike.
Yep, Lifespan is another great one. And, the Elder Pages, we make use of it, in trying to find services for our clients. But yes, Lifespan, they serve not only Rochester, but 9 surrounding counties. You can reach them at 585-244-8400. And once again, just a tremendous resource.
Absolutely. And great folks over there. And a lot of it is just volunteers. I mean, I don't say just, but it is a volunteer-driven organization. So if you want to do something out there, listeners, call Lifespan for that. It doesn't just have to be if you need help. If you want to help, it's a great place to call too. And as Mike said, they're out there in 9 counties, and I know we cover them all. So the other thing I wanted to bring up and ask you folks to help me out, help Mike and I out. We just launched our YouTube channel. And I think we might have like 10 subscribers because we haven't really promoted it yet. But if you listeners could go to YouTube channel or to the YouTube site and type in Seniors Rock Radio and subscribe, it's free and it'll give you access to all the shows for this whole year. So help us out there and subscribe, and that would be great. And, Mike's got a website too. Mike, tell them your contact information.
Sure. The website is www.mrobinsonlaw.com. You can reach us via email through there. You can always call us on the phone at 374-5210. And we're happy to answer questions and provide whatever help and guidance we can.
Excellent. Now, I'm excited because I think I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you just tuned in, my father-in-law, Jack Palvino, and I and Tom Proietti were over at RockVox recording yesterday, and they are going to be on the show next week. And, both Jack and Tom are just legends here in town. If you grew up in Rochester, you know them, Jack from WBBF and Tom, all different names on the radio too. They're a hoot, and they tell a lot of the fun stories about the old days of radio. And this coming month, March, is Women's History Month. We'll be talking about that later in the month. But next week on 3/6, tune in because we'll have Jack and Tom talking about the history of radio. And I think you'll find it really interesting. And
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. The stories are endless. And the great guest is going to be Scott Fitzgerald, and he is the owner of RockVox. So it's a big team effort here. We're all in it for the greater good. We thank you, sponsors, our guests, and our listeners. And Mike, what would you like to say?
Thanks for listening, everyone. Be well and be kind.
Always. And don't forget, folks, we love you, and Seniors Rock.